So today is actually just a quick little video because I know all my videos have been quite long, so I'm just going to cut to the point. I'm showing you how to do a trick that makes your eyes look bigger, but not necessarily with a cut crease or anything really dramatic. So as you can see by me actually prodding my eyeball apart, I have a very small lid and a lot of brow bone space, so I'm actually going to use that today to my advantage and bring up the shadows higher. So I'm going to use the Carter Beauty palette in the warm velvet, which is like the warm neutral one. And I'm going to take my Zoeva 228 Luxe Crease brush and go straight in with Noble, which I'm not pointing at all. So I'm taking Noble and I'm bringing it quite high with my blend. This will just give the illusion my eyes are bigger, because if I was to place all the colours on my lid, one, you wouldn't be able to see them with my eyes open, and two, it would actually make my eyes look smaller. So don't be afraid to bring the blend a little bit higher. Then I'm just going in with my blank canvas brush. It is completely clean as well, and this is just going to soften the edges. So just keep going in with the transition shade until you see how dark you want your eye. I do this a few times, as the Carter Beauty isn't the most pigmented palette, but I like it because it's more buildable, so it's good for day-to-day looks. And I'm applying the most product at the centre of where my pupil would be. It's also going to create a more rounded eye look and give the illusion my eyes are bigger. I'm just taking that colour right underneath as well, and do not be afraid to bring your shadow quite low underneath. It's a great tip to hide under eye bags or fine lines as well, as everybody has them. They naturally fall there under your eye, but I always just bring my blend a little bit lower. I'm going into the shade 13, which is like a chocolate brown, on my blank canvas E10 brush, which is a small tiny little crease brush, and I'm placing that right in the crease. So by placing the shadow just a little bit higher than your crease, it's going to give the illusion that your crease falls here. I just do it personally because it makes my eyes look rounder and a little bit bigger, especially since I have a lot of brow bone space to spare. Then I'm just going in with the Zoeva brush with no product on it, just to soften out the edges. Taking Truffle then on my E10 brush again, I'm just keeping this to the outer corner just to give a little bit more of a winged eye effect. I don't like it too dark on my outer corner. I like to bring the shadow just a little bit across the lid, because I find if I put too much to the edge, it gives a very oriental look, which is what we're trying to avoid doing with trying to make our eyes look bigger. And smoking out actually doesn't make your eyes look smaller, it kind of defines them a little bit more depending on if you're using black or not, so I just bring the same colours down. You can use concealer for this if you want, but I'm taking my Soft Ochre by MAC and my Sephora concealer brush, and a tiny bit of this is all you need. It's basically just going to tack a little bit of shimmery eyeshadow to the lid again. So I'm just patting this on into the centre. It's nice because it's actually got a colour underneath it, so this is actually going to pale your lid out a little bit, again making your lid look like it's a bigger space than it is. And you can use your finger instead of the brush if you wish. I just have acrylics. I can't seem to get in there without poking my eyes out. But using your finger does give a softer finish, especially to the edges of your blend. You don't want to ruin it, but if you've used a brush, don't be afraid to go back in with a brush and soften it out. Going with a big fluffy brush, I'm just using my E13 from Blank Canvas and the shimmery shade, which is Golden from Carter Beauty. By not setting the base, we're actually going to tack it down to that, and by using a fluffy brush, it also gives a softer finish, making the edges a lot easier to blend. I also just brought mine into the inner corner just to give it a little pop as well. Oh, you actually could just leave it like this if you wanted to, if you're running late or you want a soft look or whatever. But I'm going to go in with Peaches and Cream's Luxe Glitter and a little tiny bit of Duo Glue. Just taking that on a Real Techniques shading brush, which I just don't care about. It's full of glue, so that's his job now. And I'm just patting this on the centre. Again, you want most product to be on the centre just in case you go a little heavy handed. And don't be afraid to bring it a little bit higher than the glittery eyeshadow. And then just pop your Luxe pigment onto the lid with the same brush. Glue is a bit tricky for you, just go back in with your blending brush and soften out the edges if you find it's a little bit harsh. I'm just taking my gel liner then. A lot of people think if you wear gel liner it's gonna make your eyes look smaller, but it doesn't. I angle mine up towards the end of my brow. This gives the illusion my eyes are almond shape when in fact they're actually hooded. Once I've mapped out my wing, I'm actually going to go to the centre of the lid. I do my thickest part in the centre, and I made sure the inner tear duct and the outer corner are actually quite thin lines, as my eyes just can't hack a small to big wing. It just makes them look even smaller than they are. So by doing the centre bigger, I'm making my eyes look more rounded. When I'm doing my eyeliner, I actually angle a mirror just below my chin, as what it does is it stretches my eye out completely without me having to close my eyes and not be able to see anything I'm doing. Eyeliner is almost never perfect, especially for me. I hate the bitch sometimes, but I just go back in with a little tiny bit of Duraline on my concealer brush and clean up my wing if it needs a little bit more of a sharpening. I'm just taking my number 7 mascara and popping that all over my lashes. As you can see, I'm taking my well-loved Divine Lashes by Doll Beauty. These are lovely because they point up in the centre and the inner corner instead of the outer corner, and they don't give that winged look effect, which actually makes my eyes look tiny. That's the finished look, all glam and wispy. So I hope you found this some way helpful. All the products will be listed as always down below, and I will see you